Today I'll be replacing the alternator on this 2006 Ford Focus. This is the 2.0 SE, and I'm going to show you a sign why the alternator is bad. So if I start, you see that battery icon? It disappears, but after a couple seconds, if you let it run, the battery icon will appear. I'm going to pause the video for now. You see the battery icon should pop up soon. There goes the battery icon pops up. And also, if I remove the battery, the car dies. You see the car died? That means the alternator is done. It's not working. And this is my motor. And the alternator is right there in the bottom. That's the alternator right there. And to get to it, first you start removing the battery. Make sure you disconnect the battery before you remove the alternator. Both. Make sure you disconnect both terminals. Make sure you put something to block the terminals so it won't contact again. Or put some piece of tape or something. I had these plastic things from when I bought a new battery. Alright, next you gotta loosen your wheel. If you don't have air tools, then loosen them now. But if you have air tools or like an impact gun on battery, you can jack up your car. Alright, I have the car in the air. And next is to put jack stands. I'm using the 6-ton jack stands, and it works pretty good. You can use the 3 tons too. And also, I lowered the jack a little bit so it won't have like all the weight will be on the car, and I lowered it on the jack stands. And you can leave the jack here. All right, now it's time to remove the wheel. Alright, all the lug nuts removed, the wheel. Put that underneath the car. Next we gotta remove some of these tabs because it's in the way. Just this half, and then we can fold it. Actually, we can leave this on. I don't think it'll be in the way. If it is in the way, you can just remove these plastic tabs and it'll just come out and you can fold it here. But you do gotta remove this to expose the pulleys in your belt. So you gotta remove this. And the bolts are underneath right there. There's one there and one there. So you gotta remove those 2 bolts. They're 10 millimeters. Okay, that's removed, and I put the bolts back where they go. And it exposes your pulleys. And right here is your tensioner right there. So you gotta get the tension off to get the belt off. Alright, to get the tension off, you put it's a 1/2 inch. It's a wrench. I put a 1/2 inch wrench on it, and then I took a pipe and put it over the wrench. And then you pull down clockwise. You pull it down to relieve the tension. So you'll pull down and then get the belt off the pulleys. So you'll put this on, and then you pull down and you hold it, and use your other hand. You hold it with your hand, and then use the other hand to remove from the pulleys. And I couldn't use no sockets because there's not enough room. The frame's in the way. So yeah, you gotta use a wrench. Alright, once the belt's removed, next you gotta remove this part, this whole bracket here. It's pretty simple. You gotta unclip this brake line, and there's 2 bolts, one here and one there. Those 2 rusted, and this thing will come up because we're gonna pull that alternator from the top. you don't really have to remove nothing. So from the top, the alternator will come out. All right, see, I got mine removed. These were 7 millimeters. Next, you gotta remove this bottom line right here, this line right here, cause so it can be in away from here. All right, see, once you remove that plastic clip, there's like a plastic clip. You use a screwdriver to pry it open on each side, but be careful not to break it. So yeah, you just put a screwdriver. Let me show you. You put a screwdriver like right here, and you pry it. You pry it here, and you pry it in the back, and then you pull it up, and then the clip goes up. Just careful not to break it, and then it pulls out. And you can put this part that we just disconnected on the side, and this part will be, so now we have more room to get the alternator out. All right, next we're gonna remove this nut right here. There's one on top and two in the bottom. And this is 15 millimeters, and the bottom one's 15 millimeter too. So yeah, we gotta remove, I'm in the bottom, so we gotta remove that nut, or that's a bolt, and that nut over there. So we gotta remove that nut and the bolt. Yeah, first remove the nut. First remove that nut right there, and remove the nut on top, so we can remove that plastic cover, so we can remove that, so get it out of the way. Also forgot to mention, make sure you put a brick or a wood in the back of the tire. Alright, and also don't forget to remove this part. You gotta remove this, it's like a breather tube. You just squeeze it in the side and it pulls out. I want to give you a better look for it. And this is it. This is the breather line. You just see there's a hole here and a hole here. You squeeze it and pull it out, and just wiggle it out. Okay, I was able to get this cover out. Here are the two nuts I took out, right here. And then you got there's this harness right here. You just slide it out from the stud. It's on the stud. Right here. I just pulled it out. So that's out. The wire that goes to the alternator. Alright, next we can remove this wire. So we gotta go from the bottom. Alright, next we gotta remove this part right there. So you pull, you will peel this boot out. This is that long cable we're removing, and there's a nut right here. It's a 10 millimeter nut. We gotta remove that. And once it's removed, we remove that nut. We can pull this thing out right here. That's the cable, and we can pull it out from the top. And here's that cable we just removed from the bottom, and this is it right here. Alright, next we can remove this nut. So once we remove that plastic cover right here, there's going to be a nut here, and there's going to be a nut in the bottom. And there's a nut right there in the bottom, right there. So where the cover was, there's a nut right there we got to remove. It's same thing, 15 millimeters. Alright, as soon as we remove those two nuts that holds the alternator, we're going to remove that bolt right there. That's a 13 millimeter. Alright, next we're gonna remove this. We're gonna once the alternator is loose, we're gonna pull the alternator forward from the motor so we can expose that bolt. You see that bolt right there? It's a 13 millimeter. We're gonna remove this plastic shield. So yeah, just move the alternator forward now. You can slide it forward so you can be easier to get to that bolt. Alright, you can see the covers up, and then you can see that I might like slide it like this. So you can slide it on those studs. It slides now. So yeah, slide it and you can remove the cover. It's right here. I already removed it. Alright, next we're gonna remove the studs. You gotta remove the studs. These studs right here. And I think you can use a 6 millimeter socket. Sorry, it's not a 6 millimeter socket, it's a 1/4 socket, and this is how the teeth are. Like that. like that, and you just put it on and unscrew those studs. First do the bottom one. See, I'm unscrewing the stud. It spins pretty easy. And also there's going to be a clip. You got to remove that harness right there. So there's a button right here. You press it. You got to like press it hard. So it's a little hard to press, but you press it, then you pull it and it comes out. So this is it. So this is the button right here. You just press it and pull it and it comes off. So the alternator is almost free. We just have the stud to do on top, and that's it. The alternator should be able to pull out. So this is the stud right here. And then we just have to, oh, here's the harness that we removed right here. Here's a better view on top. You have to like press it. It's kind of hard to press. Mine was pretty hard to press. So you press it and pull it. And this is the last stud that's holding it, the alternator. Just same thing, unscrew it and hold the alternator now, because now it's gonna fall. Or just let it drop, it's up to you. Alright, so got the other stud out and the alternator is right there. I was trying to hold it with one hand and unscrewing the stud with one hand. Because once it's loose, you can actually kind of screw it by hand. And I set the alternator down there. So now we're just gonna take it and pull it out of there. Alright, yeah, just wiggle the alternator out of there. You can, it's a little tricky, but it's possible. So you just wiggle it out from here. And here's the alternator right here. See, I already replaced mine. This is my second time already doing this. And yeah, it became defective again. So I don't know if it's a defective or something, or I'm just gonna, I don't know if I should buy a brand new one or try using another one. So yeah, it's out. So yeah, I was able to get it from the top. And same thing, once you go and install it, just install it. You put it in there, you hold it with one hand and screw that stud back in. This stud, so it can help you hold it. And it's easier with two people, so one can hold it from the bottom and the other one hold it from the top. It's much easier, but one person is possible. Okay, so I'm not gonna show you how I installed it, but just do the reverse. Install everything in reverse. Make sure you run your wires, connect your wires, and that's about it. And then you can run your belt. You can just Google your make and model, how the belt routes. And also, while the belt is off, you can check your pulleys. Make sure they're not making no noise. I replaced my idler pulley just because it was making a little bit of noise. Right there, that's your idler pulley right there. I replaced it. I used a wrench to get that bolt out. You can't really use a socket because the frame's in the way. But yeah, make sure you put your battery back, make sure you tighten the things, and start the car, and it should be good. And that's about it.